Oh, here we go, here we go.
The carp.
Get in!
This is no ordinary fish.
How have you still got energy?
For thousands of years, they have existed in waters across the planet, from feeding the Romans
Sure, I like it.
right through to pulling anglers' arms off.
Oh, my life.
They have grown to mythical sizes that is the stuff of legend.
Absolutely awesome.
I'm fishing mad Ali Hamidi,
How are you?
and this is a journey of friendship, culture,
Got tight hamstrings. What are you laughing at? Right, it's going in.
and most of all, adventure.
This is the life, though, boys, isn't it, eh?
As we travel the world
Oh, my God. I'll have a high five.
in pursuit of monster carp. This week's adventure takes us to the land of the rising sun, the island nation of Japan. We don't mean that lightly. The country is made up of over 6,800 of them. But for our trip, we'd be sticking to the main island of Honshu. Carp fishing in this country is in its infancy compared with Europe, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a chance of a monster. The largest carp caught, or should I say the longest, is just over 1.20 meters. Unlike us Westerners, the Japanese don't tend to weigh the fish, they only measure them. So there could be a shorter but colossally heavy fish being totally ignored, and we were here to find out. Tom Dove and myself have both fished very briefly in Japan before, but our third musketeer, Darryl Peck, was a total newcomer to Asia. So we decided to give him a night out in the country's capital, the mighty Tokyo.
Oh, that sweet smell of noodles and prawns.
And Pecky's excitement, because come on son, you never expected in your life to be coming to Japan, but carp fishing in Japan.
Yeah, mate, you better take me carp fishing, because you let me loose in the city, you'll never find me again.
Well, it's bright lights and beautiful. You've been fishing here before,
Yeah.
and you're a well-travelled Far Eastern visitor.
Yeah.
But you must be really excited.
Yeah, I really am. Yeah, this is what I'm used to in Japan, but I haven't seen much of the other side of it, so I can't wait to go fishing.
Now, boys, I have a real hectic schedule in store for us, but we've got one night in Tokyo. What do you say? Let's make the most of it, do the tourist thing, have a little look around, maybe even hold hands. What do you say?
Come on, let's go.
With a population of well over 13 million, Japan's capital has so many things to do. But with only one night to play with, we couldn't resist heading to the highest point in the city to have a grand view of the place. In fact, the Tokyo Skytree is the tallest tower in the world and the second tallest structure that's ever been built.
Just look at it, it's absolutely mental.
So what better way to kickstart our Japanese trip than with views like these? This was going to be a trip of a lifetime. It was a fair old trek right through the middle of busy Tokyo to get to our first fishing destination. This is our friend and excellent guide Shu, by the way. He was taking us to the Tama River. It's actually a tidal river that divides Tokyo with neighbouring Kanagawa, and it's known to hold a lot of carp. Dovey had already fished here a few years previously, and we knew it didn't hold anything massive. A fish over £20 would be a bonus, but really, seeing as we were in the area, it'd be a travesty not to try out some proper urban carping.
Well, lads, this is the exact same spot as I fished last time, and we caught quite a few, so I think we're going to be good.
Mate, it's absolutely crazy. This is like a river snaking through two major cities in Japan, crammed with carp. And how about this? Like, European anglers, when they think of Japan, they think sushi and koi carp, don't they?
Yeah.
They don't think the carp we're after. So really, mate, this place is untapped, totally untapped. What are you thinking, Pecanator?
Well, it's not like I expected, you know. I was expecting countryside, maybe mountains, and we're right, like you say, in the middle of a city. It looks mental, and I am excited to have a little go at this.
Dovey, every nook and cranny in this country
Yeah.
is amazingly full of the carp that we love. Why do you think it's overlooked?
Japanese are not really into fishing for carp and putting them back. They want to take fish home for the table, and the carp aren't very good for that. So for us, it's really good because there's carp everywhere and it's completely unfished. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Good, good. I'm really excited. But boys, this is a tidal river. The tide is about to go out. All of our gear is in suitcases, our bait's in boxes. We've got a lot of preparation to do, so what do you reckon? Put a bit of bait out and get started tomorrow?
Yeah, 100%.
Right then, come on in, Pecanator. Piggyback.
Oh, blimey, you are getting heavy in your old age.
It's nice being back on the river, to be honest. I really enjoyed it last time, and it's good to show the other lads as well, you know, what this has in store for us. I'm sure they're going to love it, and I'm going to love it again, I think.
First time I saw the river, I just couldn't believe it. You know, sandwiched between two major cities is this river just winding its way through, and there's skyscrapers left and right, and then carp swimming around right in close. So just can't wait to get amongst it.
Hold your horses, Pecky. The tide was on the way out and wouldn't be coming back in until noon the next day. So to not waste our time and be productive, we thought we'd prep the spots with a bit of bait.
Yeah, funny?
We were providing a feast of highly nutritional pellets and boilies to draw fish from all over this huge river into the area. There's no carp in the world that will be able to resist this free meal, so we were confident that we'd have some action when we return. It was a glorious golden morning on the Tama River, and finally, after a couple of days waiting, we'd be getting the rods out. But even with the tide out, there were still signs that intrigued us anglers. All these little holes in the mud are actually made by carp chowing down on the natural food it holds. We just couldn't wait for the tide to come back in so we could fish.
Well, we've travelled halfway around the world, and just to get my hands on one of these wild Japanese river carp is going to be awesome.
It's a lovely day this morning. We're all sitting right next to each other. We're going to fish literally just one rod each. I'm really excited to get the rods out with the lads.
And as the little feeding holes filled back up with water, we were buzzing. After such a long journey, I think we all deserve this. The rigs the boys were using are called snowman rigs, a buoyant pop-up boilie mounted on a sinking bottom bait, which sits like a little snowman on the deck. I was packing a few extra morsels into what's known as a PVA bag, a water-soluble material that dissolves, leaving a neat pile of food right next to my hook bait.
Well, Mr. Peck, as it's your first ever trip to Japan, I think it's only right that you cast out first. What do you reckon, Dovey?
Yeah, mate, go for it.
Come on.
All right, then. A little pouch full of these bad boys and I'll be away.
Oh, don't be putting bait. That's cheating. Putting bait out.
It's the edge.
Right.
There it goes.
Lovely.
Bit of this.
Here we go. Oh, we're fishing.
It was my turn next, and I hoped the little bag of extra food would get me a quick bite. And it wasn't long before we had some action.
I was well enjoying watching the line. Peck, you're an absolute hero. Look, you climbed down and you'd do anything for me, wouldn't you?
Mountaineer, rock climber. What's his name? Ray Mears.
It didn't feel like a huge fish, but hey, we were off the mark and it felt good.
Davey, I knew it must have been quite easy if you'd had a few, you know, when you...
That's a cheat coming from you.
We weren't expecting too many challenges from this river, but it was a perfect place to warm up the tyres.
Here we go. Is this our first Japanese carp on a trip? Yes! I'll have a high five. Wicked.
There's always a slight pressure to get off the mark, so this felt great.
Look at this, a beautiful coloured common carp, never been caught before. And in this country, it's all about length. But for the English viewers out there, I'm not going to weigh it, but I reckon I'm going to give myself about 15 or 16 pounds of lively common carp.
The Japanese strain of king carp is generally much longer than its European cousins, hence why the locals prefer to measure them.
But more importantly, just look at where we've caught it from. Buildings, high-rise buildings, total bedlam, and a beautiful carp to boot.
It was our first proper fishing day in Japan, and we were warming up on the urban-looking Tama River. I'd just slipped back my 16-pounder when Pecky was quickly off the mark
That
too.
was first carp!
Yeah! Oi. Get in there, get in. Japanese carpio.
That's definitely Spanish.
Normally I'd say let's get it on the scales, but in this case, when in Rome or Tokyo.
So here we go, fork of the tail to the end of the nose is a 67 centimetre. So personal best Japanese carp. Happy days.
The Japanese record is double this. Now that's long.
pucker little fish. It's cool, isn't he? Let's get him back.
And finally, after a few hours' wait, Dovey was off the mark too.
Come on, Dovey. I was starting to think you hadn't bought your A game.
I was starting to feel pressure, mate, but I know I'm better than you anyway, so I'll catch more by the end.
Oh, that's hard.
Better late than never, I suppose. And before we knew it...
That was got in there, that was quick. I got him. Nice one. Taking the pressure off a little bit. He's not massive, but what a cracking little Japanese carp.
After Dovey's fish, the rods felt quiet. The little flurry of activity had spooked the shoal away. So in the meantime, we sent Pecky off to get some much-needed grub.
And I don't look like I'm starving, but I am actually starving. Any danger, Peck?
The Japanese are famed for their cuisine. Sushi, sashimi, noodles. I couldn't wait to see what culinary delights he had for us.
Oh, mate, it's proper Why is it so slimy?
This really wasn't what I had in mind.
Oh, man. What is it?
Honestly, it's fermented soybeans. Nothing else, just fermented beans.
Are you ready? Right then. 1, 2... Been from your mouth. That is disgusting, man.
Sharing is caring, boys. Go on, Dovey. Get your lips round that, mate.
Have a proper mouthful.
Do you know what it's like? It tastes like
vomit is what it tastes like. If you
it's
were
like
to go,
it's like salty vinegar.
if you were to go, what does that taste like, mate? That actually tastes like your mate's chunder. I don't know what you're laughing at. There's no way, man, on God's green earth, you are not, mate. Me and even he's tried a bit now. You're getting stuck in. Look, I'll open it for you.
Yeah.
Look.
Come on then.
Go on. Go on, Ghostbusters.
Oh,
Have some slop.
Oh, sorry.
None of it come out! No!
I'm not eating that.
No! I can't believe you've got out of that.
Don't worry, pal. There's plenty of time to get you back. Revenge is a dish best served cold.
What earth's that?
It's a face mask. They all wear them in Tokyo, mate.
Why are you wearing one?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's not for the pollution. This is probably your breath, mate.
No!
As time ticked by, the weather conditions changed. The wind had picked up due to a sudden drop in air pressure, and this has an effect on the carp too. Usually it pushes them down lower in the water and sometimes into a feeding frenzy, which Dovey proved to be right. This fish could have been bigger, but seeing as the weather was still right for it, we fancied some more action.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yes!
We set ourselves a little target of £20 and we didn't have to weigh it to know that this was it.
Well, boys, I think I might measure mine. Where did you measure to?
I went in the fork just about there, mate.
Oh, right, that was silly, wasn't it? Because that's not the full length. Look, I'm going right to the edge of the tail.
I like that, is it?
83 centimetres.
83.
83, very good. Well, we've measured it. We might as well look at what it's been eating. And that is some of the boilies and the pellet that we've been feeding.
Taste it, see if it's the pellet. You're thinking about it.
You're a sick man. You're a sick man.
I've just had fish poo. Right, that never happened. That never happened. I lost control. Right then.
Sorry, viewers, do not try that at home. That was savage.
Gentlemen, wonderful day. Cracking fish. Great start to our little journey. Got plenty more in store for you.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
What a great start to our trip in Japan. 4 fish out the river, you can't grumble at that. But I haven't come here just to sit in one spot and just fish. Fishing's the catalyst, but I want to experience as much of Japan as I can, and hopefully Ali's going to take us on that tour.
You know, I've been here a few times before and I'm always right in the city centre, so it'd be nice to go and see more rural areas and maybe, you know, some of the picturesque parts of Japan.
This first instalment has been very urban, very raw, very exciting. But boy, what we've got coming up is all about the culture, all about the beauty, the majestic stunningness that Japan has to offer. I can't wait to show them what I've got in store for them.
It just wouldn't be right if we went straight to our next fishing location without taking in a bit of Japanese culture on the way. And what's more Japanese than this?
Well, boys, it is absolute sacrilege to come all the way to Japan and not see what this place is famous for, koi carp. We are at a farm absolutely brimming with them, and I can't wait to have a look. Excited?
Yeah, I am, mate.
Come on in, boys.
Carp have been in Asia as long ago as the 5th century BC, but were solely bred for the table. It wasn't until the 1820s in the Nagata region of Japan that their true ornamental potential was realised. Despite this, the outside world wasn't aware of the fantastic colour variations until 1914, when the Nagata koi were exhibited in Tokyo. Since then, they have become famous the world over.
I'd love a little place like this in my house.
Henky, want to jump in there, have a little swim with them?
I'll dip my finger in and see if they come up to my magic powers.
It's all well and good seeing these things, but you know the Japanese pride themselves on the finest koi carp in the world. So, what do you say to a little competition? I've got a little room down there that holds some absolute beauties, and see who has the best eye for the most valuable koi carp.
I thought he was going to say catch them then, but yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to say that.
Come on, down here.
Ali's laid this challenge down, and to be honest, I fancy my chances against him. I'll beat him at everything else, so should beat him at this as well, really.
Game on, Dovey. I think when it comes down to bling, I have a few things to teach you, son.
Eye on you, I got my eye on you.
We were joined by Mr. Yoshida-san, the owner of this lovely establishment, and he was going to be the judge of our little competition.
To make it even more interesting, the person who comes first in this competition has first choice on the lake we are about to go to. The person who comes second has second choice and third choice. So, gentlemen, there is a pool of very valuable fish here, yes? Okay. Dovey, you're the youngest. Why don't you go first?
I don't want the pressure of going first.
I want to go first.
Go on, then you go first.
Right, the only thing I've seen in kois is in pet shops, and on the front of the most expensive koi food in the shop was one with red dot on its head. So there's 3 of them to pick from, so I'm going to go randomly with this white one down in the bottom corner with a red circle on his head.
Japanese flag.
Yeah. When I was looking at the koi, I had no idea really what makes one koi more valuable than another, but I have heard in the past that it's the crispness of the colour, so the 2 colours don't merge, a clean line between that. It's all I had to go on, really. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Just swum into the net.
It's better than you, Daryl.
I'm going to go with flair and just love for the fish. The one I really think is pretty and looks quite unique is this one. This metal and orange.
That's the one I was going to go for.
Being fish lovers, over the years, you talk to loads of different people. So I've had some idea here and there about some of the things that separates an average one from a brilliant one. So I'm going to try to pull some of that together and make a decision.
I think you're going to be surprised on the one I'm going to pick. But there's one in here that's quite symmetrical. It's like almost that little...
This red one?
This little red one here. It's almost the same on both sides.
Red and white.
When I'm looking to make my selection on the fish, I'm looking for a fish that stands out, that's completely different to the rest of them, and I think that's what's going to add value to the fish. Maybe because he's symmetrical, he's going to be worth a lot of money, I don't know.
Oh, Dovey.
He's got red eyes as well.
Dovey, I didn't look at mine's eyes. Right.
The decisions were made. Now tell us, Mr. Yoshida-san, what are the results?
So, I think this goshiki, yours?
Yeah?
This one?
Is what?
Yeah.
Number 1?
Number 1.
I've got such an eye.
I'm a bit of a koi expert, aren't I?
Number 2 and number 3, the price is very similar.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, but go on. Which one?
Yes.
Oh, it's important.
Japanese flag one, second.
Should have just picked that one first.
Second choice is fine, especially with Ali coming first. I'd fancy my chances over him any day of the week.
Bit gutted to come last. I don't even know where I'm going, so I don't really care about the swim at the minute. I'll just get there and see what happens when we get there.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That has been one of the most enjoyable little challenges in our fishing lives up to now. Boys, enough of this fun. We are about to embark on a pretty epic journey. Come on.
Let's go and do it.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
The fish I chose cost £500,000 yen, or about 2,700 quid to you and me. But enough of my glorious victory. we were heading about 50 miles west across the stunning Japanese landscape to one of the country's most iconic natural wonders. Need more clues? It's 3,776 metres high and is an active volcano. Yes, we're heading to Mount Fuji, and more specifically, Lake Kawaguchi, a place I fished a few years ago with some success. It's probably the most famous of the aptly named Fuji 5 lakes that sit at the base of the mountain. It's just a shame that the evening fog had rolled in and obscured the view.
Look at this place.
Well, gentlemen, just take a moment to absorb this sight. I have been dying to bring you here. This is the magnificent Lake Kawaguchi at the foot of Mount Fuji. Dovey, we've been to some places together, but this takes some topping, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, mate. I can see why you're so excited about bringing this here. It's it feels powerful, you know, the big mountains and that. It's epic. Feels like Japan to me.
Well, it looks a bit serious, Geese. It's like, yeah, it doesn't look like no Mickey Mouse water. This looks like it's going to be a bit tricky.
You're absolutely right, son. We are running out of time, though, unfortunately. Evening is drawing in, so I reckon a bit of fine Japanese cuisine, bed, and then we'll get cracking in the morning, boys, yeah?
Let's do it.
Right, come on, see if you can
Actually can't
combat
wait.
this. Yeah, I can't wait either, but I'm trying not to roll my ankles on here first.
Previously on our Japanese trip, we were warming up on the urban river in Tokyo. Now, we are going to be tackling the amazingly picturesque Lake Kawaguchi at the foot of Mount Fuji. Being an active volcano, it last erupted in 1707 and is rumoured to go off again anytime soon. Let's just hope it remains dormant for the rest of the 4 days we'd be fishing here. Because Dovey lost the koi challenge, Pecky and myself decided that we'd take the right-hand swim, hoping that some of Mount Fuji's magic would rub off on us. But it seems Pecky has enough confidence as it is.
With over 20 years carp fishing experience, I like to think that I know what I'm doing. And if these big fish are in here, I'm going to be searching them out and I will find them.
With Ali winning the koi challenge yesterday, I think he has picked the favoured side of the swim, but to be honest, the only thing I'm annoyed about is that I can't see Mount Fuji from my swim because there's loads of bushes in the way. Oh, there's the massive fly on my head.
And it seems like you've got a fly infestation too. Unlucky, son. This area is known as Fuji 5 Lakes due to all 5 lakes in the region being created by previous eruptions of Mount Fuji. This lake, Lake Kawaguchi, is the second largest and probably has the most publicity surrounding it. Carp were introduced here in the late 1800s and have been pretty much left to their own devices since. So who knows, there could be a totally wild giant in here.
I'm not sure that it's these monster fish haven't been caught. I think it's more that they haven't recorded them as we know it. They measure the fish here and don't weigh them, so they could have caught a 50 or even 60-pound fish, but recorded it as 1.20 m. We'd have no clue how big that is. So I don't think it's that they haven't been caught, it's that we don't know how big they are.
Despite this being the more famous of the Fuji 5 lakes, it was still relatively unknown. We decided a 30-pounder would be our target, but we weren't going to achieve that without putting in a bit of bait first.
There you go, son. Rocket full of food. And talking of food, here it is for the wild carp. We are bringing attraction to the party. So you've got different baits here, different boilies, banoffee flavour, spicy crab. So got a little bit of fruit and a little bit of fish in there. You've also got pellets in 2 different sizes. Carp absolutely love it. So a right old mixture there to produce loads of attraction. Maybe some smaller fish will come in first, create a bit of a cloud, and the big ones will follow after. That's the plan. You ready to go again? Of course you are. Ali Hamidi, working his magic. There you go, mate. Take it away.
We delivered about a couple of kilos to each of our spots to get the carp to come in and have a munch. This is a knotless knot rig, a very standard, no-fuss carp presentation. This coupled with a super flavoured, attractive boilie, and you can't really go wrong.
As these fish haven't been fished for that much, the technicality of the rig isn't paramount. So I've started off with something extremely simple, a knotless knot, a big hook, and a really bright hook bait.
The area we had baited was about 70 yards on top of a known feeding spot, so that's where we were aiming at first. Unfortunately for us, there's a night fishing ban here, so these daylight hours are of utmost importance, and so far, we were wasting them. The whole afternoon had passed by in a blink of an eye and without any action. If we were going to discover one of these monsters, we needed a sign
First things first, on the new water, you've got to catch. And once you're catching, you can fine-tune what you're doing, and just by a numbers game, the big ones will come along.
Oh my God, what a buzz. Oh, that's exciting. That's really exciting. There's an air of mystery to what could be on the end. Oh yeah. I don't know how big he is, but it's definitely really, really powerful.
These long, lean Asian carp are built for speed, which makes them very hard to judge the weight of, seeing as they all fight like beasts.
Go on, Japanese carp. Yay!
In there, mate.
Yes, it's an amazing lake, and it was quite a slow afternoon, so I was beginning to think it wasn't going to happen. So it feels a massive relief to get one in the net.
Not only have you gone and caught the first one, you on that. I bet I know what you're trying to do.
I'm not coming all the way to Japan and having a bush in the back of my fish pictures when that's there. Just ain't happening.
That's fair enough, mate. It'd be a shame to miss out on that in your photo album.
Well, I am really pleased with that. My first carp at the foot of Mount Fuji, and it's an absolute cracker as well. What a way to start. Mwah.
It wasn't a massive carp, probably around 17 pounds, but we thought we'd have had a little more action by now. They weren't fished for regularly, so they shouldn't be as wary and therefore easier to catch, at least in theory. It was a glorious sunrise again, but we didn't have time to take it all in. Carp tend to feed a lot more confidently under the cover of darkness, so we were really being hindered by this days only rule.
If the fish are not here, we don't see signs of them, we're going to have to move and do it quickly.
When I can find fish, I can catch them, and that is all I'm concerned about today.
With the rods out and fishing, it was paramount to find where those carp were. I decided to trek round about 500 yards left of where Tom had his fish to see if there were any more in that area. Spotting carp is as hard as you can imagine. The signs can be as subtle as a few bubbles fizzing up from feeding fish, or as obvious as seeing fish jump clean out of the water. Your eyes are definitely one of the most important tools.
In the row of three of us, I'm actually the furthest to the left, and it seems like that's where the fish are, is to the left-hand side.
He may have lost the koi challenge, but he'd been left with the area with all the carp, and I was still frantically figuring out where Pecky and myself could catch them from.
Yes. Yesterday, I saw a fish to the left, I cast to it and caught one, so I've done exactly the same this morning, and it's worked a treat. And a brilliant sign that what we're doing is working. Could be the start of something great and getting amongst some real big uns.
This little scrapper was all the evidence we needed. The fish were to Dovey's left, and if Pecky and I were going to catch, then we'd have to get a move on.
Looking pretty bleak, to say the least, mate.
Let's call Dovey in for a mother's meeting. Dove step.
It's all right for him over there on this left-hand spot. He see fish yesterday, cast out, caught one, rebaited. He's just going to get steady action from that little pod of carp, but I don't think he's on the main group.
I honestly think they are down the left, but...
They are down the left. Definitely.
Hello, hero. You staying?
I'm staying, yeah. Well, it'd be silly for me to move. I'm catching fish. I've just seen one jump out of my spot as well, so you guys are doing the hard work anyway. If they're over there, I'll know, so I'll just come over.
Go on then, crack on. Right, packing up time.
We decided to move about 500 yards to the left of Dovey, which I'd scoped out earlier. According to the locals, they have much better luck with a more subtle baiting approach. So we swapped over to what's known as a throwing stick to scatter out a bed of just boilies. Hopefully we're being sneaky enough so the fish come into the area more confidently. And speaking of confidence, Tom was flying.
Feels like a bit of a better fish, this one.
We hope so. If we were going to get any closer to that monster, then this would have to be a better fish.
Yes! Get in.
Nice one, Dovey. That does look like a better one.
I know Japanese tradition is to measure him, which we will do in a bit, but for my own sake, I'd like to weigh him, so I think he might be 20 pounds. Let's have a little look. Yes! It's 21 pound exactly.
Definitely the biggest fish that we'd had at the lake so far, but still a way off our 30-pound target.
Well, I thought we'd measure him as well, seeing as we're in Japan, and this one is just over 80 centimetres, which really cements to me that there are much larger fish in here, because they've said that they've caught them over 1.20 m long, so that's a much, much bigger fish. But for me, now, third fish in, That is an absolute crack, and you can see him tensing up there, which means he's hardly ever been caught. He doesn't really like it, so I think we're going to get him back in, but thank you very much for your time. I'm going to put him back.
Over an hour swim, Pecky and myself didn't have to wait long until we had our first taste of the action.
Yeah!
And it looks like we had an audience too.
Ah, it's good, man, when a plan comes together.
That's all we needed, a swift move onto where the fish are, and we're catching.
Go on, get your shoes wet.
Yeah! Yes!
Get in there.
Go on, son. That is what hard graft gets you.
And literally seconds later... What a turnaround. No fish yesterday to having a double hookup today.
Now the big question is, has the move really paid off? One fish each, new area, great hope, but will the monster come? Let me see. 84 centimetres to the protruding mouth. Go on, your turn.
Pecky's fish was 78 centimetres and probably 30 centimetres short of our target.
Little kiss for the 2 carp. Doesn't get any better than that, son, does it?
No, mate. Move's paid off handsomely.
Between Dovey and ourselves, it looked like we were picking fish out of the main pack that was in an area between us, seeing as the fish we were catching were of a similar size. We were really on a roll now, but was this one any larger?
Long, long common.
Get him. Yeah. A lot of carp fishing is down to confidence, and now that we're catching, mine's through the roof.
23 pounds and 2 ounces.
Lovely.
Brilliant, mate.
Wicked, mate.
The biggest fish so far. Slowly but surely, we were heading in the right direction.
I'm really starting to enjoy things here. Hopefully it's a sign of great things to come.
Unfortunately, that was all the action we had. We were aching from all the moving about, so I decided tomorrow we'd do something a little bit different, something much more relaxing. This is Tuenji. It's a Buddhist temple not far from Lake Kawaguchi, and we were here for some well-needed Zen meditation. Hopefully this will bring us closer to catching that monster. Buddhism has been practiced in Japan since 552 AD and is now the main religion in the country. This temple is around 700 years old, and we couldn't wait to experience its spirit.
Well, gentlemen, a real, true element of spiritual Japanese culture.
It's very calm here, isn't it?
Unbelievable, mate.
Are you ready for what we've got in store? Come on then.
I actually think I could do with some cleansing, to be honest. After all of the travelling, all of the hard work, I think this might actually do me a bit of a favour.
This is the very unlucky Buddhist monk that will be trying to teach us uncultured Brits the way of the Zen, or in Japanese, Zazen, which literally means sitting meditation. We needed all the help we could get to catch that monster carp. Oh, for goodness sake.
I've got tight hamstrings. I've got tight... What are you laughing at? I've got real tight hamstrings. Like this. It's good? It's good? Oh, blimey. You're asking a bit much here, Sam. Yeah.
So unflexible.
What you...
For me, the positioning of the hands and the knees was fine, but Ali and Daryl, oh my God, Daryl couldn't even get his knees on the floor, and Ali's obviously got wooden legs because he just could not put them into the right position.
Strange position to have my hands like this.
Don't speak.
Sorry. I was expecting a very calming experience. I didn't think it was going to be as painful on my limbs as it was. And then he pulls out that stick as well, just to top it all off.
As it goes, being a hit with a stick's quite enjoyable, really.
I heard a noise, basically, on the floor that I thought was exhaling of a rear bottom gas, and that was it. It was game over. Along with my limbs in pain, I'd lost it.
Don't move. Be silent.
It was classroom giggles all over again, and I was the one who was punished. How is that fair? I honestly don't know how Pecky and Dovey held it together. It was a traumatic 10-minute Zen meditation for me, but luckily our sensei called time before I exploded.
そしたら、open your eyes.
I was definitely not top of the class, and if looks could kill, and with our teacher's pet Dovey next to me being absolutely perfect, oh my God, I think my fishing karma could be really damaged. Some fishing luck. Thank you very much.
Ali, being as stupid as he is, was just laughing all the way through it, and he even nearly got me laughing at one stage.
Mentally after Zen, I'm in the zone, but physically, I do well to get round to my swim.
You said it, mate. I feel like I've just run 8 marathons back to back with my legs behind my ears. We just hoped it was all worth it. This was it, the morning of our last day fishing in the land of the rising sun. The Zen session had used up a whole day, so we really needed to hit the ground running now. Tom had even moved into the swim Pecky and I were in originally to see if he could pick off the bigger fish just outside the main pack. Up until now, we haven't had anything close to our 30-pound target, so we were just hoping that our final day would be kind to us and give us a real big one.
No monsters yet, so today it's the real hard push, the final push, last day, trying to get a monster from Lake Kawaguchi.
Dovey in his new swim was first off the mark, and the fish was running fast.
Stripping line off me, that is one powerful fish.
It was running Dovey all over the place. Could this be the fish we were after?
Oh no. This is really not good news. The fish has gone onto that spit, which is to my right. I can actually see it wallowing on the surface, 3 foot off of the spit. Now he's actually gone onto the spit. This is not good. What is he doing? The fish ends up going on the end of the spit, which is just crazy. I don't even know what it was doing on there, but obviously at this stage you're worried about the fish welfare, so the only thing to do then is chuck the waders on and go and get it.
You've got to hand it to the ginger blonde. He'll do whatever it takes to land his quarry.
Hey! I can't believe you actually got that in. When you nearly lose the fish, when it eventually goes in the net, it's an absolute buzz. Well, after a near disaster, it's 89, 90 centimetre fish's result, and what a result it is. I'm back with a carp, and I'm back with Mount Fuji.
Dovey, that was a well-earned carp. Still, we needed bigger.
First fish of the day.
And we were each taking turns just going through the numbers, hoping that there was one out there that was over 30 pounds. Saying that, I wasn't getting a look in. Must have been the Zen Master's wrath finally catching up with me.
It's in there.
Frustratingly, none of these fish were any closer to our target.
To try and get through to their massive fish, it takes a lot more effort, maybe a year's worth of fishing and learning where the big ones might hang out. I'm sure they're in here, but yeah, I think we're scratching the surface with the size of fish we're catching.
By the time the barrage of smaller fish was over, it was well past midday, and if we were going to keep our hopes of catching anything over 30 pounds, then it would have to come soon.
Another one. Trolling through the numbers, and that's the game. Just got to keep on catching, and hopefully one of those big ones is going to turn up. Feels like I'm connected to one of the bullet trains of Japan.
Fortunately, it didn't give Pecky too much to worry about, and it wasn't long until it was right in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Got him?
Yes.
But it wasn't until it was in the net that we realised the actual size of it.
Oh, yeah, mate, that's hang on.
What are you saying?
So it's got a bit of depth, this one, mate.
When I saw it coming to the net, Ali was there, ready to get it. I could see it was a good one, and it looks like it might be the biggest one of the trip.
It's 27.8.
27.5, lovely.
That is awesome, mate.
This was a great achievement. Even though it was only a few pounds heavier than the average so far, it was significantly larger in size, much wider, if not only a little bit longer, at 90 centimetres.
And look,
No pelvic fins, you know. There's usually carp have got 3 fins.
but this is obviously clearly never ever had it. Genetically, very different to what we normally catch. Just a beautiful creature, mate. This is the biggest fish of the trip by a considerable way. And just look at the proportions of it. It's a young fish, isn't it, Darryl?
Definitely.
And it just leads you to think, imagine how big some of the older carp that are in here, the ones that have survived the weather, the torment, that have been around for so long. This is a new penny, and it's just a few pounds shy of 30 pounds. Unbelievable. A beautiful fish, never seen a hook before, will probably never, ever see another angler's arms again.
Said at the start that we needed to catch, we've done that, and they've progressively got bigger. Today at 27, that's a massive carp, but there's still time, and I'm hoping for one even bigger.
Unfortunately, everything went dead again, but there was another, more personal goal that I wanted to achieve before leaving. Pecky had got me those fermented soya beans on the first day. Seeing as it was the last day, it was time to get him back.
You up for a little game?
Yeah.
Up for a bit of a
What do I
game?
win from this?
Pride, male pride. Come on, son, lean forward. That's it. That's it. Think of it as like one of those games you played with your mates when you were young.
I was just thinking of...
Bit like a messed up hide and seek. Right, hang on.
Oh.
Come here.
Pull my eyebrows out.
Right, remember you tried to stitch me up at the beginning of the week? No, it's my
Oh,
turn.
this is food, isn't it?
Well, what my Japanese friend sorted me out with were deep-fried locusts, and Pecky was going to eat them.
Did you ever watch that programme Saved by the Bell?
Yeah, I've seen a bit of that.
Yeah,
Screech.
Yeah, that's exactly that, mate. So, at the moment, you are praying for one of your rods to go off. Right, lift...
Hang on, Yen Master, look after me, help me out here.
OK, mouth open, mate. Right, it's going in. Oi! Come forward!
What is it gun is that?
You can't... Oi, come forward, mate.
Be quick, just get it in
Yeah,
there
all
and
right,
brush it
and
around my
then-
lips.
Yes! No! Yes! No! Yen Master, yes! Yen Master, look! Yes! Yen! No way!
Yeah! Just in the nick of time. I love Yen. Not Yen, Zen. That moment when the locusts, when they brushed my lips on the way in, you know, I knew it was legs of some description. I could feel them, like, and I had no idea it might be something like that. And those two bleeps, you know, like, pulled down the front and, like, see that it's my rod and it's not Ali's and I've got a bite and I'm getting out of it. Yeah, absolutely priceless.
Mate, honestly, that was the luckiest bite ever. Oh well, it was in the net and the day was quickly drawing to a close. After the session we'd had, we couldn't really complain.
Oh, mate. That's an absolute minter. Anglers looking on. That's how it goes sometimes, isn't it? You can sit there, be gilly to your mate, he can catch loads, you can catch nothing. But when you do it in scenery like this, honestly, I've had an absolute wow. You enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, mate, it's incredible. We've not caught massive fish, but we've had an amazing session, caught loads of fish from different venues. Amazing scenery, can't get no better than that.
Can't do, mate. Thank you very much. You've been a pleasure. It'll probably be the last time we get to see a fish in the daylight in this amazing, amazing place.
For all of us, that was it. Pecky's lucky carp was the last we saw. But we weren't disappointed. Watching the sunset behind this landscape was all we needed. We'd spent the last week looking at the side of Mount Fuji. I thought I should treat the boys and take them up it on our final morning. A perfect way to reflect on this trip of a lifetime.
Now I know for certain, with our long flight home, that the airport is not going to be as good looking as here. So, what'd you say? Let's take this in for one last time? Absolutely incredible.
You could say living in the UK that I live in my own little bubble. We're on our own little island, but coming out here just opens your eyes, you know. The whole world is full of carp and there's opportunities for monsters everywhere.
Yes, we haven't caught a huge one by European standards, but it's been about the adventure, the friendships, that feeling, the locations. That's what's brought that childhood love of fishing back inside me. I've absolutely loved it.
When you come on a trip like this, you realise it's a bit of a shame that we're so obsessed with catching such massive fish, when really the adventure is in the adventure, coming out and actually fishing for fish that are unknown and enjoying it along the way.